Yeah, of course, Elina is a huge fighter, and I've seen it many times. I've been watching her since I was a kid, so to be able to compete with her today is such an honor, and I really admire her. She's a mother, and I find her...
Alexandra Eala has officially turned Berlin into the tournament that may be remembered as the week her career changed forever, because what we are witnessing right now is no longer a promising young player collecting experience against top opponents. It is a young star proving she belongs among them, and perhaps sooner than anyone expected. Just one day after stunning the world number 2 and sending shockwaves through women's tennis, Eala walked back onto the court facing another enormous challenge in Elina Svitolina, one of the most respected competitors of her generation, a former world number 3 and a player known throughout the tennis world for her ability to fight through pressure, survive difficult moments, and force opponents into battles they often cannot win. The expectation before the match was simple. Even if Eala had the talent to produce one major upset, repeating that level less than 24 hours later would be incredibly difficult. Tennis history is filled with players who achieved one unforgettable victory only to struggle in their very next match, because emotional highs can be exhausting and expectations can suddenly become overwhelming. Yet from the opening points, it became clear that Alexandra Eala had arrived with a completely different mindset. There was no sign of nervousness, no indication that the previous day's victory had distracted her, and no evidence that she was satisfied with simply reaching the quarterfinals. Instead, she looked sharper, more aggressive, and even more confident than before. Every movement carried purpose. Every rally seemed to reinforce the growing belief that something special was happening in Berlin. As the first set unfolded, Eala established control early and refused to allow Svitolina to settle into any rhythm. The pace she generated from the baseline forced the experienced Ukrainian onto the defensive, and time after time, Eala demonstrated the kind of clean ball striking that has become her trademark throughout this remarkable grass court season. What made the performance particularly impressive was not only the quality of her shot making, but also the maturity behind her decisions. Rather than forcing low-percentage winners, she remained patient when necessary, aggressive when opportunities appeared, and composed whenever momentum threatened to shift. That balance is usually developed over years of competing at the highest level, but throughout this week, Eala has displayed it with remarkable consistency. The first set belonged to her, and as it ended, there was already a growing sense among fans that another upset might be on the horizon. Yet everyone watching knew the real challenge would arrive in the second set, because Svitolina has built her reputation on resilience. She is a player who rarely disappears from matches and has spent years finding ways to turn difficult situations into victories. Predictably, she began pushing back, extending rallies, applying pressure, and forcing Eala to prove that her level could survive when momentum became complicated. This is often the moment where young players begin to hesitate, but Alexandra Eala continued trusting her game. She stayed committed to her patterns, continued attacking the ball, and repeatedly answered every challenge placed in front of her. When Svitolina attempted to create doubt, Eala responded with confidence. When pressure increased, Eala raised her level. When the opportunity arrived to close the match, she did exactly that. The final moments were emotional not only because of the result, but because of what the result represented. Another top player defeated. Another statement delivered. Another reminder that this young woman is rapidly transforming from prospect into contender. The victory over Svitolina was not an isolated achievement. It became extraordinary because of what had happened just one day earlier.
Oh, that's how you do it. Another huge win for Alexandra Eala.
The tennis world was still discussing Eala's incredible victory over the world number 2. Many believed it would stand as the defining moment of her season. Instead, she immediately followed it with another elite performance. That ability to back up a breakthrough victory may actually be more impressive than the breakthrough itself, because sustaining excellence under increased attention is one of the hardest challenges in professional sports. Opponents become more focused. Expectations become heavier. Pressure becomes unavoidable. Yet throughout Berlin, Eala has looked as though she belongs exactly where she is. Looking back at the beginning of the tournament makes the story even more remarkable. This run did not start with headlines predicting greatness. It started with opportunity. Match by match, she built momentum. Point by point, she built belief. Victory by victory, she forced the tennis world to pay attention. What once appeared to be an interesting week suddenly became one of the biggest stories in the sport. Analysts began discussing her chances. Fans began imagining deeper runs at major tournaments. Opponents began recognizing that facing Alexandra Eala was no longer a comfortable draw. The timing of all this could not be more important because Wimbledon is approaching and grass court tennis has become the stage where Eala appears increasingly dangerous. Her movement is improving, her confidence is growing, and perhaps most importantly, her ability to handle big moments is reaching a new level. Throughout this Berlin run, she has shown resilience when trailing, composure when leading, and courage when the outcome remained uncertain. Those qualities separate good players from great competitors, and they are becoming visible every time she steps onto the court.
Coming into the semifinals, I hope to prepare and make some improvements and show them what I got.
And we're looking forward to it. You are in the semifinals, meine Damen und Herren, Alexandra Eala.
One of the most fascinating aspects of her rise is how naturally she seems to embrace challenges. Facing higher-ranked opponents does not appear to intimidate her. If anything, it seems to elevate her concentration and sharpen her performance. Against world-class competition, she has repeatedly produced some of her best tennis, and that pattern is becoming impossible to ignore. The victories are accumulating, the confidence is growing, and the evidence continues to point toward a player whose ceiling may be far higher than many originally believed. Every tournament produces stories, but very few create moments that feel significant beyond the results themselves. Berlin is becoming one of those moments. Years from now, fans may look back and identify this week as the point where Alexandra Eala stopped being viewed as a future possibility and started being recognized as a genuine threat on the biggest stages in tennis. Whether she wins the title or not, something important has already happened. She has demonstrated that she can compete with elite players, defeat elite players, and handle the pressure that comes with doing both. That combination is powerful because it creates belief, not only within the player herself, but throughout the entire sport. The excitement surrounding Eala is no longer based on potential alone. It is based on results. Real victories against real champions on one of the sport's biggest stages. As the semifinals approach, the attention will only increase. Every match will carry greater significance. Every point will feel larger. Yet if this week has taught us anything, it is that Alexandra Eala thrives when expectations rise. She has embraced every challenge placed before her and transformed pressure into opportunity. The question is no longer whether she belongs among tennis's rising stars. The question is how far she can go from here. And judging by what we have witnessed in Berlin, the answer may surprise everyone.